Good morning, good morning. Welcome to the Working Trader, where we look at forex analysis, looking at the Euro USD and now the GBP USD as well. And let's just jump straight in. Today is Wednesday, rather today is Thursday. Yesterday we had ISM, PMI, JOLTS, job openings, which are high impact news, and which I was saying that on the scale of high impact news, we would probably classify them as more of medium impact. And of course, uh, expecting tomorrow, Friday, NFP to really have a huge, to really cause huge volatility in the markets. Okay, today there's not much news. We have unemployment claims at 1:30, but I don't think there'll be much to this today. Before NFP tomorrow. So let's jump into the charts. Let's look at what happened yesterday and what we are expecting today. So I'll start with the euro dollar. So euro dollar, we've had a break of structure and then we had a sub break of structure to the downside. So I was saying that in the meantime, we're in this pullback phase. Of course, we've mitigated this daily supply range, daily demand range, sorry. We've mitigated it, we've had a reaction, but we're still pushing back down. So we could expect a bit of a deeper mitigation, maybe sweep out this low, and then have a reaction to go up and possibly to then target the week daily swing high. So that was the anticipation. And then when we look at the 4-hour internal, we had a break of structure right there, and then we had another break of structure, and then we shifted bearish. So 4-hour currently is bearish. However, supply areas have all been mitigated. Okay, all supply areas at the top have been tested, and right now we are at this 4-hour demand, and we could expect these lows to be run. Okay, have a deeper mitigation or even failure of this demand, right? And then into this demand area, right, before we start pulling back up. Okay. So that's the expectation on the 4-hour. And then when we're looking at the 1-hour, I was saying that the 1-hour is bearish. So our swing structure, 1-hour is bearish. This was our last swing break of structure, and that makes our swing high right there at the top. And then we've just had this pullback, okay, into the supply, which initially I was expecting to fail. However, it has held and has caused an internal break of structure right there and then right there, and then now price has made equal lows, so we still expect price to continue bearish, okay, to sweep out these lows maybe, and then switch bullish, or to even continue take out this whole demand, sweep this main low, okay, before switching bullish. So however, the trade is kind of slow moving trade, okay, because obviously after we had this break of structure and we're expecting this to be mitigated, because I was saying that the 4-hour or rather the 1 hour is bearish, but we expect this, it to realign with the higher time frame. So 4 hour, 4 hour swing is bullish. However, the internal is bearish. So on the Euro USD, it's more bearish than bullish. Okay, the Euro USD is more bearish than bullish. So even though we're expecting realignment, we'll probably see these lows swept. Okay, the bearish move though seems to be getting weaker. Okay, since we had a break, price didn't really move away aggressively, okay, even after high impact news, but started just chopping around. Okay, started chopping around. So this could suggest that the bearish momentum is waning. Okay, and so we could expect that maybe after a run of these lows, we might have a bit of a reaction up. So yeah, once we're bearish, we didn't really get a move that we would want. Okay, a strong move, so we could still hold the trade. So if you were in a trade, I mean, this was pretty. If you're in a trade going for 2R, 2.2, yeah, you would have ATP eventually. Okay, you would have ATP, although it's been a slow grinding move. All right. I didn't. I was looking for lower time frame confirmations, and price was just slowly grinding, so ended up canceling my trade. So looking at the pound, we said it's bearish, and internally we are bullish, and we've just mitigated this demand range, and we had a reaction. We've had a break of structure right there. However, this is a tight range, right? So we would expect this to fail, right? It's possible that this could fail. We sweep this lows, or we just mitigate, and then we could continue going up. Right, expectation though was that because of this imbalance right there, so expect it to be filled, and expect price to go and to mitigate the extreme supply. However, that hasn't happened. We just mitigated the imbalance, and then we've had a strong sell-off reaction. All right, and then on the 4 hour, we've had bullish break of structure on the internal trend. This was the swing, okay, and then the internal. So as you can see, we've just had a strong reaction, just coming down. So in these areas, well, this is the one that has to hold. This one has already been mitigated. So we expect the top demand area to hold, okay, if price is to continue bullish. If this fails, then we are looking at this area price to come into this for our demand to then continue bullish. And then on looking at the 1 hour, I was anticipating that we were going to continue bullish, and I was looking for price to mitigate this area and then give me signs on lower time frames that price is likely to switch bullish, and then look to continue to trade up. However, it didn't, and then just continued melting. Okay, although be it a slow grind. And now, as you can see, it's likely that this 1 hour demand right here is going to fail. Okay, now even if when that fails, I'm going to assume that it has already failed, we still have, this is the extreme. Okay, this is the extreme which has now been mitigated, so there is still room for price. There is still room for price to continue, bullish. Okay, there's still room for price to continue bullish because we are still within the swing range. All right, this is the extreme. All right, and this is the unmitigated extreme. Okay, so we've just come into that, and as you can see, we've started to have a bit of a reaction, so we could sweep that again, and then, you know, maybe start going, So we have had a reaction. All right, we've had a reaction, so we could start seeing price going bullish. So yesterday trades didn't work out. Okay, trades didn't work out. So in terms of today, what we can expect, biases for the pound dollar. So here we're having kind of conflicting biases for the pound and for the euro, even though they are correlated pairs. Okay, because the daily swing structure for the pound is bearish. Okay, and then the internal is bullish, and we are reacting off of this demand. Okay, and then the 4 hour internal and the swing, they are both bullish. Okay, so internal and swing are both bullish, and because we are inside 4 hour demand, all right, because we're inside 4 hour demand, we could look for quick long trades. Okay, we could look for quick long trades. So 1 hour, we've mitigated this, so this could be our entry. Let's see if we're going for a 2 hour trade. That's a huge stop. So if I put for 2.2, we would be looking for price to, go deeper into this somewhat lightly mitigated supply right there. So which is possible because this has already been mitigated. Okay, so we could be looking to see this happen. Okay, and then we do not have any other clean demand, 1 hour demand. Okay, we don't have any other clean 1 hour demand, so that's for the pound. And then when we look at the Euro USD, the daily is bullish. Okay, daily is bullish. So daily swing is bullish, daily internal is bullish. All right, so high probability trades would be to go long. Okay, because daily swing and daily internal, they are aligned. Now of course we have this sub internal which is currently bearish, but this is possibly just to facilitate the pullback, okay, which said we could push a little bit deeper, maybe get to EQ and then start looking to go long. Okay, as we can see, pretty much all these areas have been touched, have been mitigated, all right, and respected. So we expect this just be mitigated, so we expect it to be respected as well if price is going to continue bullish. And then 4 hour has switched bearish. Okay, so our medium time frame is switched bearish, but this is switching bearish to facilitate the daily pullback. Okay, and then we've had a bullish change of character and we're still respecting this POI. However, we've had a deeper mitigation. Okay, we've had deeper mitigation, more than 50%, but we're still respecting the POI. Okay, and then on 1 hour is clearly bearish, swing is bearish, and then internal structure shifted bullish, and then internal shifted bearish again. Okay, so this is the week low, so expect this to continue to hold, price to sweep these lows, and then if price is to switch trend bullish, then this would be the area where that will happen. Okay, this will be the area where that will happen. So we have the backing off. Here is where we have the backing of the daily demand, right? Newly formed 4-hour demand, supply that's holding, but you see there's weak movement. Okay, and then demand that's been mitigated. All right, it hasn't done its job to eliminate supply, but it's still being respected. Okay, but it's still being respected. So this would be, let's see, if we're going long on this area, okay, this would be a good trade because we don't have a very large point of interest, and for our 2-hour target that should be doable, and then there would have taken out this trend line liquidity up there, so you can see price is congested over here. Okay, and then of course we do have an imbalance here, so here price after this break, price could come and react from this area. Okay, so I think those are the trade ideas for today. Technically both of them now would say they are bullish. Okay, bullish trade ideas. However, this is the internal trend on the lower time frame is still bearish. Okay, so it's kind of counter the internal trend on the entry time frame, which is also counter the internal trend on the medium time frame as well. Okay, which is also counter the internal trend on the medium time frame. Okay, but because we are coming off of daily demand, okay, we're coming off of daily demand, and this would say this is simply to facilitate the pullback, right? And we've had a break of structure, although be it a fractal break of structure. Price could now start switching bullish, okay, from this point. So that would be a risk worth taking. Okay, so this is the analysis for today for the euro dollar and the pound dollar. So if you find value with this material, please hit the like and subscribe buttons and leave a comment, and I would appreciate that. Other than that, have a good day, and Working Trader out.